Hey guys, so for today's episode, I'm gonna show you this cool comic book I got, and it's in Italian, but I know what it says, so I'm gonna show you what it's about, and it's called Saguaro, and it's about a superhero. Okay, so in the first page, he's like standing in the desert, and he's got his gun out. There's like some kind of bird watching him, and the bird is his nemesis, Birdino, who can turn into a bird and watch Saguaro. That's his power. Okay, so the story begins. There's like a couple of guys running from something in Mexico. Then one of them says "ouch" and he lands on his feet. And so they're running, and then he's like, "Hey, over here, man!" And he's like, "Wait up, buddy, wait up." But meanwhile, there's a sniper. And the sniper's aiming on him, and the guy's like, "Hey, have you shot the guy yet?" And he's like, "Hey, give me a break. It's hard aiming this thing, because they're running." And so that guy calls him an idiot or something, like they're arguing. And there's some thunder and lightning, and he's like, "Hey, wait up! I'm trying to catch up." This guy takes aim, and then bam, he shoots him. And so he pretty much dies. And he's all like dramatic. He's like, splash. And then the other guy, that's our hero. He's still running. He's like, he doesn't figure out yet that his friend's dead, and so they keep shooting at him. But he gets away and turns into a cactus, so they can't see him anymore. That's his power. Saguaro turns into a cactus. Or wait, no, sorry, he's still running. He like hurts his leg, and then he gets away. So, they're talking about how he turned into a cactus and they can't find him anymore. Like, there's a lot of words, but that's really what it boils down to. Okay, meanwhile, there's a truck. And so Mr. Hat Guy checks the truck, and there's like a bunch of boxes in there. He's like, "Yep, just as I suspected." But meanwhile, there's our hero hiding in the truck because he's hiding from the Hat Guys. And so they're getting in the truck. They're taking off. He's driving out of there. He's driving to Mexico. And so our hero's real objective is to get to Mexico because he lives kind of a sheltered life. He like lives in the States. He's never really been outside the States. And he wants to. He's been learning Spanish. And he wants to try it out. So he's driving in this truck with this guy. Sorry, a bit more there. So they're going, and then our hero, Saguaro, is like, "Okay, well, that was pretty hard." And the other guy's like, "How so? You know, I'm a hobo. I do this all the time. Check out my lantern." Our hero doesn't believe him. He's like, "I don't think you're really a hobo. You know, watch it, buddy. You can't lie to me. I'm Saguaro." And it's like, no, check it out. Like, I live here. I live in the truck." "Oh, yeah? Prove it, buddy. You know something? Prove it." And it's like, "Okay, here, look, see this bread? It snaps cleanly in half. How could I have stale bread like that if I wasn't a hobo?" He's like, "You know what? I believe you." And the hobo's like, "What?" Okay, chapter 2. So meanwhile, at the FBI, here's our other hero, Captain Bald. That's not his real name. His real name is Captain White. And he's like, okay, guys, what's up? What's the deal here?" And then that guy's like, "Okay, we're here to ask the FBI to hunt down the hero, you know, because he's the villain." He's like, "Hey, buddy, my name's U.S. Marshal. I'm here to track down Saguaro, and these are my buddies, the Cacciatories." And then Mr. White's like, "Oh, no, you don't, pal. No, you don't, because he's the hero. You can't track down him." Okay, look, I'm trying to be reasonable here, but he's Saguaro. I wish you wouldn't track him down. And then they're like, yeah, okay, well, the thing is, like, we're the bad guys, and we really want to track this guy down. We're standing up, and we're gesturing at you. And he's like, "Well, I'm beginning to see your point. Like you did come all this way. Saguaro is kind of hard to find. I spent all my money on this abstract art." The bad guy's like, "Yeah, see what we're saying? Like you're seeing what we're saying. Look how thoughtful we are. Let's make a deal. How about we'll like make you your favorite dish every day for a week?" And he's like, "Okay, no, that's actually a pretty good deal. So yeah, good luck." And then he's like, "But it'll come with a terrible, terrible price." And everyone's like, "What?" Like even the other bandit guys, like, "What are you talking about, man? Like what terrible price?" And he's like, "Spit it out." And he's like, if you allow us to hunt down Saguaro, then you will be cursed for 5 days and 4 nights." And he's like, why are you telling me this? Like, you want to track him down? And he's like, "No, I'm serious. Like it's gonna be horrible. Like everyone will think you're sick, but really you'll be cursed. You'll get like this runny nose and like you'll just have really bad luck." And it's like, okay, I see what your deal is. You're just like a bunch of you're some con artist or something. But really, there's nothing I can do because like if I double crossed you, then you do a worse con on me. So oh yeah, the other guy's name is Hooker. He's like, okay, is that right, Hooker? And then like he's like, pretty much. So they reach a deal. And he says, "Splendid." Okay, so meanwhile, our hero Saguaro is saying goodbye to a truck. The hobo guy is like, "Hey, come with me. We're gonna check this out." Pensando, right? So they're going and they're going through the forest. The hobo guy grew a mustache in the meantime. Um, they're talking about sports or something. It's kind of the great common denominator. Like he's going to Mexico to learn not Italian, Spanish, and uh, but like everyone there is only speaking Italian. So like the great equalizer is sports. They talk about their favorite, baseball and soccer, but they call it football. Um, they're hiking through the forest. They're maybe cracking some jokes. Um, he's saying someone's a racist. They come to this big white wall, but it turns out it's not a white wall at all. He's like, "What? That's not a white wall. That's a big old valley or something. Like I thought it was a white wall, but it wasn't. It's an ocean of mountains," as he says. Um, So he's like, okay, look, buddy, where are you taking me? I thought you were taking me to the Great White Wall. You're taking me to this giant pit. What's wrong with you?" And the hobo's like, "Okay, you're in my scheme now. You're following my tricks. You're my friend, but you fell for it. Um, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna like toss you in, and like even if you turn to a cactus in midair on the way down, you're still gonna just like splinter apart when you hit the ground. Um, it's hopeless." Then he's like, "Okay, how about we don't actually do that?" And he's like, "Yeah." So they go back. He gives them some advice, like, "Don't meddle in my affairs again, buddy." That's his advice. They go to the hospital. No, sorry. Meanwhile, at the hospital, this attractive lady is arguing with Bedman. Um, she's like, "Hey, you're innocent. You have to prove you're innocent because this is the court of law, and that's how that works." And he's like, "No, like I'm innocent, but I don't have to tell you. Like, honestly, you should figure this out on your own." And she's like, "Well, I don't believe it." And so she's like, "Look, you got to present evidence." He's like, "All the evidence I need is that I'm a snappy dresser, and I've just had a hard life." And she thinks about it for a while. He's just telling her his life story. And then meanwhile, Saguaro and Hobo are still hiking through the desert. They find like a river or something. They're like talking about rivers. They find some like construction stuff, and he's like, "Oh gosh, construction! What a lot of construction stuff." Uh, they're like going up to see the construction stuff because they like that sort of thing. Who doesn't? Until they meet. Um, this is Saguaro's dad. He's got kind of long hair. He uses a stick. He's getting up there in years, and he's like, okay, guys, come on, you've finally made a new friend, Saguaro, whatever. Let's bring back home. Like it's too awkward to mention the part where they're gonna like throw him off the cliff. But his dad's just doing this whole shtick this whole time. He's like, "What? Oh, Noi! Oh, Noi!" And like the hobo's just like snickering behind his back at his dad. Like it's not very polite, but you gotta admit, it's kind of funny. They're just like whispering about him behind his back while he tells a story about animals. And he's like, "Okay, listen, I hear you guys laughing. Just knock it off." He's like, Dad, I'm tired of you pushing me around. His dad starts humming. They instead of getting in a fight, he just sort of stalks off, and he's really mad now. Like he's probably gonna turn around and punch them both. So they're going to the house, and I was like, "Oh, in my day, we respected our elders." Yada yada yada. So they're going. They have a heat argument. His dad just stalks off. He has some sort of like photograph or something. They're talking about it, and then they go inside, and there's his mom. She's like, "Hey, look, I brought you this lavatory bowl. I guess it's like a chamber pot or something." She's bringing him chamber pots. They're like, "Oh, hey, thanks, mom." And they're like, "Oh, yeah, figures you'd be back here with a hobo." They're eating dinner, and his dad like starts telling this crappy story, like raises his finger in wisdom, like shut up. So then his mom's like, okay, let me change that chamber pot for you. So they're just like hanging out in the kitchen. When all of a sudden she gets mad, she's like, okay, you know what? I'm sorry. You can't just keep doing this, Saguaro. You're supposed to be going out, turn into cactuses, maybe settle down with a nice lady cactus, whatever. But you bring home this hobo, and honestly, I'm not gonna stand for it. And they're just like totally ignoring her. They're like, yeah, right. Like, what's gonna happen? Come on, mom. Come on. Let's see you try and fight us. Let's fight. And so he goes outside to take a smoke, and he's like, I remember the star where I came from. And they just talk about it for a while. He walks off. He finds a pig. He's like, pigs are sacred to my people. From Rigel 7. And they just like watch the pig for a while. It's a little weird. I don't know why they're doing that. They just talk about life and their philosophy. So the next day they go and watch the construction workers. Or sorry, this is a different scene. This is construction workers. And the construction worker's telling his boss, like, hey, man, you know what? You still owe me 50 bucks, pesos. You still owe me 50 pesos from last week. I'm just waiting to get paid. And his boss is like, why do you think you deserve it? He's like, because I work really hard. I'm just sweating all over the place. I honestly smell pretty bad right now. His boss is just like, are you sure you want it? And he's like, see, and that means no. He's thinking about it. And then he just like tells his boss a joke, try and lighten the mood. His boss doesn't think it's funny, and that's pretty much where it ends right there. Like there's not much more of it. So that's like the end of the story. I think it's continued next time. I don't know. Overall, like it's a pretty good book. There's some good action scenes. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. Like a good 7 out of 10 though. Like I think they kind of tried. Again, this book is Saguaro. There he is on the cover. He's like reaching for a gun or something. And yeah, I'd recommend everyone actually everywhere to read this book. You read it. It'll be kind of like a book club, and maybe we'll discuss it sometime. Okay, I hope you enjoy this video, and please keep in touch.